Hey guys, I'm Greg. This is Stephanie. This is our podcast, Living in Key West, Island Stories. We're both real estate agents, so if you're looking to buy, sell, or have your property managed, go ahead and reach out to us. And we have a very, very special guest today.
We do.
Stephanie, handing it off.
We have Mr. Michael Halpern here with us.
Hi, Stephanie.
Thank you for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
So most notably, you are the owner of the Southernmost House, also known as The Mansion.
Yes, the locals call it the mansion.
The Mansion, yes. And also the amazing Seaside Cafe, which anyone who follows us has heard us talk about it extensively.
For which we're very grateful.
Yeah. But also you are an attorney.
I am an attorney.
Am I missing anything? A philanthropist, absolutely.
And occasionally I've been known as a business person.
A business person.
Here in this town. But,
Absolutely.
Mostly my time is spent or devoted to giving back to the community. That's my passion.
Okay,
That's
so
phenomenal.
I want to cover that, but I really want to know, and I always ask people this at the top of the show, is how did you end up in Key West?
Graduated law school in 1975.
Mm-hmm.
The Vietnam War had ended. The economy was not very strong. I could not get a job. I came to Key West looking for a job as a lawyer. I still couldn't get a job. And then I met a gentleman at a bar, what was then called The Top, at the top of the Concha.
Oh.
He knew the public defender. The public defender hired me for the grand sum of $11,000 a year to be an assistant public defender.
Oh my gosh.
And I began my career. And then I joined with the NAACP and began work as a civil rights lawyer as well as a public defender.
Wow. So were you here during the Bumfarto era?
I was indeed here during
I think that's such an interesting story, and it's funny whenever I bring it up because people who are not local to Key West think his name is very funny, but I think it's an interesting story as well.
It was the drug trafficking era of Key West was a very, very interesting era. It followed the Navy withdrawal. When I arrived here in 75, the Navy was the chief economy of the city of Key West.
Mm-hmm.
Navy and fishing and shrimping.
Mm-hmm.
And then as time grew on, the Navy shrank smaller and smaller and became a smaller part of our economy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were replaced, believe it or not, by drug trafficking. We became a narco economy.
Wow.
And in the late 70s and 80s, the Bumfarto era, the trafficking of narcotics was a major source of income to this town.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, that ended, and the narco economy was replaced by a tourism economy.
Yeah.
And that was much better for the town.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I think it's interesting too when you look back at the history of Key West that there were certain eras where this was not a booming tourist town by any stretch of the imagination, and it was even run down by, I think, a lot of people's standards. Like I know during the Depression, when you look back at pictures, it's like they thought about, I don't know, maybe bankrupting the city or something, but it sounds like even during that era, like back maybe in the 70s, it was
late
not
70s
booming. Yeah.
and late 80s, the economy was very, very challenged.
Yeah.
It was empty storefronts. Duval Street was mostly auto parts stores, warehouses.
Wow.
Where Irish Kevin's is today was a Budweiser distributorship.
Wow.
There were auto parts stores all up and down, a few bars, Sloppy Joe's, Captain Tony's, but mostly Navy bars back then.
Yeah.
And a gentleman named Ed Swift and his partner Chris Milan and Mo Mosher, they began the process of building on tourism in town. They began building on Duval Street. They sought out the cruise ships. Cruise ships were desperately needed to save this town. And at that time, I began building on Duval Street. I built the building where, with my partner Serenda's family, where Irish Kevin's is today.
Really?
It was a building that I built at the start of the Duval Street era when nobody wanted to be on Duval Street. And then over time, basically, the cruise ships saved us. They began bringing people in, and the economy began to develop.
Yeah. So did you have foresight that had you building on Duval Street when other people weren't, or what was the catalyst to have you start
Some
investing?
people call it foresight. I call it sheer blind luck. Just living proof that a blind squirrel can fall on an acorn.
Aw,
That's how
I know about that.
the development of Duval Street occurred.
yeah,
We couldn't find any tenants for our buildings, but over time,
yeah,
Wow. And now it's booming.
yeah, exactly.
and today it is booming.
Yeah. So that's really interesting to have the insight about the city seeking out cruise ships, because the conversation is
it's
completely
opposite.
different now.
Yeah.
It's as things go in cycles,
Yeah.
it has come in cycles. Those people who have moved here recently, and even some of the local comps, don't like the cruise ships.
Yeah.
But many of the people don't remember what this town was like when the economy tanked and there was no major tourism.
Yeah.
There weren't planes flying in and out every hour. The cruise ships saved this town.
Yeah. Wow. That's very interesting. It just goes to show you that I think, and I always think about this when there are especially like really hot topics, that most of life is not black and white. There's such a gray area, and there's so much nuance to a lot of conversations that I think people miss. And this is an interesting nuance, I think.
I've learned over my 70 years that it is very easy, much easier to sell hate than it is to sell
Yeah.
positive things.
Yeah.
I hate cruise ships.
Yeah.
I hate t-shirt shops.
Yeah.
I hate cosmetic shops. I hate the people who have come to Duval Street. I hate the sound of the conch train and the trolley.
The roosters, the
We hate the musicians. We
Yeah.
hate the roosters waking us up.
Yeah.
Why do they have to have leaf blowers
Yeah.
operated?
Yeah.
It is very easy to sell hate. It is much more difficult to sell. I
Speak
hate
of the
roosters.
devil.
Come on,
You're a
rooster.
reason. That's Freddie. Freddie, you are a reason
Freddie, you
people
son of a
hate
gun.
roosters.
Get out of here, Freddie.
My favorite one-star TripAdvisor review. The hotel is beautiful. The staff is wonderful. The roosters wake me up every morning.
The roosters are rude.
And the roosters. That is what they objected to.
See, we love that.
Yeah,
right
we love
in
you.
time, Freddie.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
in time for my
Freddie knows what's
podcast.
up. Yeah. No, I mean, but we like when it comes back to the roosters, because we'll get that a lot. Like, oh, you guys got roosters. We love animals.
Yeah.
But
That's part of the island.
it's all part of the island. And
Yeah.
like, young man, it's easier to sell hate than not. That is so true. And like when we do our morning live, which we'll have 10, 15,000 people on it when we're walking, and it's I like to keep our channel positive. Like it's all positive vibes. Not that everything's hunky dory and it's easy to oh well, we didn't do X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
but being positive in my mind and trying to sell good and helping out and saying, hey, go eat at the Seaside Cafe or do whatever. Like that brings me way more joy than trying to be like, oh God, I gotta go do this live again.
Yeah.
I gotta go walk by 15 roosters. No.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's.
Well, Freddie's starting to get a little bit.
Yeah.
He's
But I think it's the point you're making is it's a mixed bag. You take the good with the bad or whatever. Everyone has things that maybe they don't love about the island, but that's okay because overall the island's a beautiful place.
That's what makes us who we are.
Exactly.
Quirky, fun,
Yes.
different. Of course, the island isn't perfect.
Exactly.
No place is perfect. I think in talking about selling hate and changing islands, I think the way you can tell the haters from the achievers, the haters always want to change things or change where they are with other people's conduct, change what other people are doing
That's
with
so
other
true.
people's money.
Yeah.
I don't like the way cosmetic shops sell things. I don't like the way clothing shops sell
Yeah.
things. I don't like what the t-shirt people are doing. Haters criticize what other people
Yeah,
are doing.
it's so true.
Achievers don't focus on other people.
Yeah.
They focus on themselves.
Yep.
How do I make this
Yeah.
island better with my money, my work, my own achievements.
Yeah.
That's the difference. At least what I've learned over my 70 years.
Yeah.
Is that is the difference.
Absolutely.
Between people who accomplish things and people who generate hate.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Yeah, we're 100% on the same page. I've never even, thank you for saying that, because I've never really even thought about it in that clear of a way, but it's so true. And I think like what Greg was saying, it's like, you know, you can focus on the negative stuff and you can kind of feed into that, or you can be like, listen, that exists and that's fine, and everyone has a different opinion or a different experience, and like focus on what's positive or what you want to create more of in your life or what you're trying to achieve, versus like being mad about what someone over there is doing.
And that's what Key West should be about, and it's most often about.
It is, yeah.
The reason I've been here since 1975 is the island is a very warm, loving, giving island. When somebody's in trouble, this island rises up to help them, whether it's medical trouble or emergencies or food or anything. This island will always stand up for its own and always take care of its own. Yeah. And that's the best thing about the island of Key West.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in your time that you've been here, what has been your favorite era of Key West?
I think the transition when we went from a narco economy to a tourism economy, we had a very strong influx of gay entrepreneurs, gay restaurants, gay shops, gay guest houses. It was a spectacular era in Key West. The stores were creative, the restaurants were creative, the guest houses were beautiful. We're back in the early days of La Di Da and the Monster Discotheque, and it was all so absolutely creative and fun. Yeah. I loved that era, and unfortunately, AIDS contributed to changing us from a gay and straight oriented tourist economy to a more straight tourist economy. We didn't have the hospitals and medical facilities to handle the AIDS issues that we had here in Key West. I lost a lot of friends during that time. But then the economy began to shift to what it is today. Today we have maybe 2 or 3 gay guest houses, 2 or 3 gay-owned restaurants. Back then it was a very healthy mix of straight and gay stores, restaurants, and hotels. It was really a fun time. Yeah.
So, but you think the AIDS epidemic was what kind of put the brakes on that a bit? Or?
I think it put the serious brakes on it, unfortunately. Yeah. Because it was such a good time.
It does. It sounds amazing. So you've talked a little bit or touched a little bit on doing for the island, and I know that you have a lot of philanthropic work that you do. So you have Michelle's Foundation.
We have Michelle's Foundation.
Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. It was formed after my wife died, and I went to the bank to get the accounts changed over. Because I had kids in college at that time. I said to the banker, "Have you ever gone to college?" He said, "Nope. Came over the border from Mexico. Everybody in my family has to work." I said, "Do you wish to go to college?" He said, "That's my dream." I said, "Your dream has come true. Go register for college. I will pay for your entire college education." He looked at me for a second and he said, "I'm scared." And I said, "Well, in that case, be outside the bank at noon tomorrow. I'll come pick you up." I picked him up. I brought him to a community college. We registered. I paid for his courses. He calls me up 2 weeks later. "Mr. Halpern, I don't mean to be guilty. I mean to be greedy. But there's a boy here at the bank from Brazil who's in his final year but can't finish because he's out of money. Can we help him too?" And I said, "Of course we can." And I paid for him to finish his education. And Michelle's Foundation was born.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That foundation has given over 100 scholarships since my wife died in 2011.
So was Michelle an educator?
Nope. She was a land developer. She built Shark Key.
Really?
Oh, wow.
She was the developer of Shark Key.
Okay. Wow.
With her father and her brother and sister.
Okay. Wow. That's amazing. So over 100 scholarships.
That's incredible.
That is incredible.
Yeah. And then years went by and we noticed a disparity in students graduating from high school. Obviously, the lower socioeconomic groups had a higher dropout rate than middle class. Middle class. It's a well-known fact. And were at that time failing out of high school in a disproportionate number. And with the Right, we created Learning Center of Key West, where we would tutor the students for free so that they would stay in school, so they'd have the same educational opportunities families that could afford tutoring. And we've tutored over 1,000 students at Michelle Center for Learning.
Oh my gosh.
And when they were able to graduate, if they apply, they get a Michelle's scholarship to college.
Wow. That's incredible.
And then while we were doing all this, the high school contacted us. There were kids without food at night. They got free breakfast, free lunch. So we started a program for food for thought. And over the years, served thousands of late afternoon meals at the high school. So kids would not go home hungry at night. And that is the evolution of Michelle's Foundation. And then we adopted the Willy Wonka Chocolate Festival to our foundation, which doesn't raise money for Michelle's Foundation. It raises money for the Cancer Foundation in the Florida Keys. And so we have the Willy Wonka Chocolate Festival here at the mansion each year, and we raise money for families with cancer who are in a poor economic situation because one or two members can't work in the family. And this year, Willy Wonka raised over $50,000 for families with cancer here in Key West. So that was the evolution of Michelle's Foundation. And in the last 2 years, we have evolved the foundation because my unknown passion is love of animals. And we now have Michelle's Angels for Animals, where we support financially animal agencies that protect and care for animals. SPCA, Key West Wildlife, Marathon Wild Bird Center. And finally, as the last evolution, we began to support child care centers like Southernmost House and Wesley House that protect and care for children and families. And Michelle's Angels for Families was born. And now we're involved in child protection as well, adoption, fostering, fostering.
Every single one of those just sounds
amazing, like
amazing
by itself,
like almost too good to be true.
Right.
It's insane and incredible. So that's
thank you for your work.
Thank you.
It takes a special person to do that and then continue to do it. It's easy to do it for a year or two, but continue doing it for 20 years and that's all of those, and continue to grow, like not just stay where you're at. You're
keep
evolving it and making it so much better. When you think, oh well, maybe it can't get any better,
there's another need and
that's
another
crazy.
need.
Of course, the credit belongs not to me, but to the community. Over the years, so many community members, businesses, individuals have joined our foundation and supporting us financially. In a way, it's hard to say thank you enough to the people who have jumped in and helped us grow to what we are today. In fact, I was a small part of it. It's the community that jumped in and made Michelle's Foundation what it is. And that's what I said at the beginning of this podcast. What makes this community remarkable is the number of people, virtually the whole community, who will help when help is needed. That's what makes us remarkable.
And I love that you're sharing that, and thank you for thank you for your work, and thank you for sharing it, because I think it's such a bright spot and such a source of positivity and hope when a lot of times like you said, it's easy to sell hate, it's easy to talk about negative things, but this is such a beautiful thing that you guys are making. It's a ripple effect. Like, you're making changes to children's lives, people's lives, animal lives. Like, all of that energetically just raises, I think, like the vibration of the island, if you believe in that kind of stuff, right? But like, I just think it's so beautiful, and we need to talk about it more, like the good work of the community.
I think much more emphasis should be given to the good work the community does than the headlines in the newspapers is fighting musicians, fighting cruise ships, fighting this. How about your focus on all the great things community members are doing for each other? Today on Flagler Avenue, there's a beautiful building, a yellow building with a blue metal roof called Michelle Center for Learning. And that building houses Somerset Island Prep, an alternative charter high school, so we can provide our students alternatives if they don't do well in big high schools. And we have 70, 80 high school students at our learning center who can get an associate's degree and their high school degree at the same time.
Wow.
It's a remarkable program.
It is.
And it serves, Michelle Center for Learning serves as a high school during the day and then a tutoring center in the evening and nights.
That's incredible. And that's so beautiful too, because I think that I think our society is coming around to, but I think we have a really long way to go, understanding that, kids need different things. They have different needs or different learning styles, or for whatever reason, a million different reasons in a typical school setting is just not where they're going to thrive, and they need a little extra help, or they need that empathy. And I think our society is very slowly coming to that, but that's so beautiful that you guys have created a place, like a safe haven for them, really.
Well, we had only one high school for many, many years. Children who did not thrive in a high school of over 1,000 students were falling through the cracks and left behind. And we were able to create a charter high school in partnership with a company called Somerset that creates charter schools, and we were able to provide an alternative learning center, and it has worked spectacularly. The sadness is there's a waiting line to get into high school. We don't have enough space to take in all the students that need our services. But we're working on it. We're working to expand. So.
No, that's incredible.
So do you have any success stories or any that especially stick out to you from the work of Michelle's foundation over the years? I'm sure, I know, probably have 100, but
we have
tons,
we have incredible success stories of children who struggled with language and are entering Harvard. Children from economically disadvantaged families going to Duke and Ivy League. It's incredible the success for the children that the Learning Center. We don't consider it our success. We consider it the children's success. They get tutored. We help them with SAT prep. We help them write college essays. And we have had extraordinary stories of children coming from nowhere, ending up at the best colleges in the country. And for many, many of these students, we were able to provide the tutoring at no cost to their families, so they had an equal playing field to the middle class and wealthy.
It's really important.
And that, to us, is probably the most important of all of our projects in Michelle's foundation. So,
oh gosh, it's amazing. I knew you did amazing work, but I didn't realize.
Not to this level.
Not to this level. I'm so impressed, and I think you said it as just a footnote, but because we're animal lovers, I want to talk about it more.
Because I was too. I was like, okay,
we're big time animal lovers. So then when you said that, I'm like, okay, I want to talk about that more. So tell me a little bit more about that.
I think the thing that's most unknown about myself. I have two great passions. Probably three. My love for my late wife Michelle is my greatest passion, but my two greatest passions now would be Michelle's foundation and my love for animals. We're working every day on expanding our foundation's involvement. We have a wonderful program that we support called Cartagena Paws, PAWS. An organization that travels to Colombia and brings veterinary services and education to the poor sections of Colombia. And then they bring dogs back and have arranged for adoptions of Colombian street dogs. This is one of my favorite programs, run by a woman named Maureen, who's a teacher at Gerald Adams Elementary School. And Carter Haynes just got back and is getting ready to go again. And my son has a Colombian street dog named Soul.
Aww.
And because of the remarkable program, Soul was chosen to play in the Puppy Bowl.
Really?
Super Bowl
That's
Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's
we got
awesome.
to see our little Colombian dog on national TV
Yeah.
playing the Puppy Bowl.
Aw.
But I think the least known thing I would say about myself
Yeah.
is that my greatest passion is animals, and
Wow.
protection and support of the animal world. So,
Is there something that you think in your past that was a catalyst for that?
I think growing up in New York City in apartments where we weren't allowed to have
Oh.
animals
Yeah.
really broke my heart.
Yeah.
We were able to finally
Yeah.
have pets.
Uh-huh.
It made me want to take care of animals
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah, we always say this, but we feel like, man, pets are they're game changers to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, your
Mental health.
your
Yeah.
joy,
Well-being.
your well-being. I mean, just like having Winnie and Perry, and we had Naya, who passed away a couple weeks ago. They just bring so much joy
Yeah.
to you, and
And also they help you with like the connection to your community. Some of like the
Absolutely.
people that we've met who we really, really connect with are other
a lot of people.
animal lovers. You know, if you connect on that level, it's like, oh, you're my people, you know, and your dogs connect you a lot of times, your animals.
You know people with a good heart.
Yeah.
Find people who love
Yes.
animals.
Yeah.
You know that they have a good heart.
Yeah. So true. So what are you most excited about that you're working on right now, either in philanthropy or anything else? Like, what are you really excited about?
I think what I'm most excited about now is getting ready to turn these challenges over to my adult children
Yeah.
and let them carry on. My son is the chef here
Okay.
at Seaside Cafe,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping someday to turn all of that over to him. As
Okay.
a matter of fact, I'm doing it now. One of my other sons is coming back from Tallahassee with my two granddaughters,
Oh.
and he'll be going to work for Opal Resorts and Management Training.
Okay.
And so I think what I'm most excited about in the future
Mm-hmm.
is that our young people on this island
Mm-hmm.
will step in now and continue the philanthropic work
Yeah.
us old people are doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully the young will step up now and say, it's our turn.
Yeah.
Let us help take care of and foster the community.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah. Well, I love talking about this topic, and I hope that we're part of the continued good works on the island as well. I
Just
hope.
by doing this podcast, you are part of the good work.
Yeah, thank you for saying
Letting
that.
the public know
Yeah.
that there are people out there working for the community.
Yeah,
That's the most invaluable service you could perform.
yeah,
Letting people know there's alternatives to
Mhm.
negative
to negative, yeah.
thoughts. Positive energy is always a better alternative.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about your work here as well as the restaurant, if that's okay. Can we take a little bit of a hard right? I love talking about this topic, but I want to make sure we talk about this as well. And we are such a huge fan of the Seaside Cafe, like I mentioned before. We bring it up and talk about it all the time. We come here and eat all the time. We'll bring our friends here when they come into town. And you said your son is the executive chef,
My
right?
son designed the entire restaurant.
Wow.
He designed the food truck. We got the right to open a restaurant when we built the park
Mm-hmm.
outside with the Southernmost Beach Resort joined us. And together we took a dirty, filthy Duval Street with dumpsters and crime. And we built a beautiful pocket park, which people truly love.
Mhm.
People come every morning and walk through the park and bicycle through the park. It's such a better addition.
Mm-hmm.
It was our idea of how we could show this community how the city and private enterprise can
Yeah.
work together
Yeah.
to make the city more beautiful.
Yeah. Instead of complaining about it, saying,
Yeah.
like, what can we do about it? How can we make it
We
better?
actually got attacked for building a beautiful
Really?
park
Aw.
at no cost to the city.
Yeah.
We got attacked for doing that. That's part of
Yeah.
living
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
in Key West.
Yeah.
And this park did not cost the city one
The
dime.
dime.
Wow.
Yeah.
100% of the money to build this park came from private enterprise.
Wow.
The Southernmost House, Seaside Cafe, and the Southernmost Beach
Yeah.
Resort
Yeah.
all combined
Yeah.
to build this beautiful park.
And it's a great little park too, and I love that you have like art in
It's a
there.
sculpture garden.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
sculpture garden.
Yes.
There's like a little safe
All the
haven
new
for
benches
roosters.
that were just
I don't think they're
redone.
new. I think
Well,
they were redone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just redone.
Yeah.
Those benches are recycled propane.
I
Yeah.
saw that. It's
It's
amazing.
fabulous
Yeah.
art,
Crazy.
art, useful art.
Yeah.
They took this beautiful, creative artist in Texas, pounding propane tanks
Yeah.
into these beautiful benches, and Art in Public Places brought us 5 benches for our
Wow.
parks. We're
Yeah.
very grateful to them.
Yeah, it's really a nice area. It's so nice to walk through in the morning, and I love that it's like a little sanctuary for the roosters too. They have like their little
Oh, yeah.
area, and there's like little babies and they're safe in there. People leave them alone.
Well,
but-
we rescued a rescue.
oh well, a little chick, not
no,
right here.
the
though.
rooster.
Oh yeah, there was a rooster who was
Got in a-
we
I
thought
guess got in a
we
fight.
actually thought he had passed away, but he was just right in front of the house one morning when we were down here, and I called wildlife rescue, and then they actually came down. He had just gotten into a little brawl with another rooster, so he was okay. He was a little beat up
He was
and had
beat
a little
up.
bit of blood come
Yeah.
out of his head. But the wildlife rescue, I mean, they're so amazing because they're on it. They'll come immediately,
That is
24/7.
why Michelle's foundation supports the Key West Wildlife Center.
Yeah,
They do wonderful work.
they do.
Yeah.
Taking care of the wildlife in Key West.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've called them when birds fly
Yeah.
into windows and
Yeah.
doors, knock themselves out.
Yep.
Call the wildlife center. Another bird knocked themselves
Yeah.
out. Come get them, nurse them back to health.
And they do.
And they do.
They're amazing. Yeah.
They're wonderful.
Yeah. So one of the things we love here, especially, is because we're gluten free. You guys serve the most amazing gluten free food here. I'm just promoting it because I just want people to know about it while
Especially
we're
if you're
talking
gluten
about
free
it.
visiting
You're
Key
gluten free,
West. They're great.
Yeah. You don't have to be gluten free to come
No,
here
no,
because
of
they have
course not.
amazing food anyways, but gluten free options, really great gluten free options here. And one thing that also, circling back to the philanthropy, I think everything comes back to it when we're talking to you, is that I was reading that you guys opened right before COVID.
We did open right before COVID.
But then, even though really the island had shut down and you guys weren't doing business, so to speak, if I read it correctly, you were in service to the island and providing food and meals to people that were in need.
We were closed at the time, and a lot of people were out of work at
Yeah.
that time. So we converted the Seaside Cafe into a food center, and we began serving meals out in the park to whoever needed them, no questions asked.
Wow.
We served thousands and thousands of meals to the community during COVID.
Wow.
We thought it was a good use of Seaside Cafe
Yeah.
Very
because there were so many hungry people.
Yeah.
They weren't working, the businesses were closed.
Yeah.
And again, the restaurants in town joined us, and people provided money to help us pay for the food.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it was a community effort. It may have been centered here,
Yeah.
but everybody jumped in, all the hotels, the
Yeah.
restaurants, let us help you, Mike. Serve meals, and they would help cook the food, provide the food.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's what makes me proud. It's not that we did it, but that
Yeah.
everybody in the community joined us. It
Yeah.
was wonderful.
Yeah. That's so
Everyone
amazing.
jumped in and lent a hand and helped
Yeah.
out.
They did.
Absolutely. It's
They
so beautiful.
absolutely did.
Yeah. So, the Southernmost House, how did you come to be the proprietor?
The Southernmost House was owned by my very close friends, the Ramos family. Charlie Ramos being one of my best friends, and they could not hold the house any longer because the maintenance and repair
Yeah.
of a 100-year-old mansion,
Yeah.
if it's a private residence, is staggering.
Yeah.
And so they came to me and said, Michael, what can we do with the house?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to Charlie, you can either build a hotel or a restaurant and get the business to help you take care of the house.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, great, we will do that. But I'm looking at him and I said, we.
It was me.
Do you have a mouse in your
Right.
pocket? It was my famous, do you have a mouse in your pocket story to Charlie Ramos. And Charlie, of course, looked at me and said, you are the mouse. Help us, Michael, get this hotel built. and we had to fight for years for permits and approvals for a 14-unit hotel that's zoned hotel.
Yeah.
Like Key West is, we had to fight for years.
Yeah.
And the hotel was built with a court order from a circuit judge here in Key West, who ordered the city to give us our permits.
Really?
Because the city had wrongfully refused to give us our permits. But we got it done. It took us 4 years. Between 1998 and 2002, we used the property as an event center. In 2002, we opened up as a hotel.
Wow.
And it's been operating as a hotel since 2002.
Okay, so do you still have your business partners, or is it just you now?
Well, unfortunately, they passed away.
Okay. All right.
And I am partners with the Ramos estate.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes, I understand. Okay, so do you think that they were happy with the direction that...
They loved it.
Okay.
I am grateful they all lived to see it.
Yeah.
It was wonderful how beautiful their building turned out. They were thrilled.
Okay, so what, were there big repairs, or what were the big projects that
Massive
you had to do?
All the electric, plumbing,
Wow.
air
And
conditioning.
that's
Everything.
massive for that size house, yeah.
And it has plastic walls, which makes it much more difficult.
Yeah.
And a brick exterior, roof, incredible. It was a massive job.
Yeah.
It took us 4 years to convert it from a residence to a hotel.
That's
And
great.
how long was it a residence for their family before it
From
became...
39 to 98.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's a very long
Yeah, they
time.
took over from Al Capone.
Really? Oh my
Al
God.
Capone ran
Wait, you've been holding that one in your pocket
I know,
for a
right?
while
You're
there.
just dropping that as a footnote.
Al Capone ran it as a speakeasy from
Really?
1919 to 1933.
Wow.
14 years.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And it's a Curry mansion, right? One of the Curry children.
William Curry built it as a present for his daughter, Florida Curry.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. This is such a cool place. So now I feel like I'm getting into questions that sound based after we've already talked about all these amazing philanthropic works you're doing. They feel a little vapid, but I think they're fun to ask. So, so we talked a little bit before we started recording, and I asked you about if there's ever been any paranormal activity or any ghost stories. And at first you said no, but then you had a little story. So tell us the story again.
There haven't been any ghost stories.
Yeah.
There has been a classical music story that appeared on our second and third floors, and you could hear it in the hallways and in some of the rooms, but there was nothing producing the music.
Yeah.
There were no radios on, there were no TVs on, and there was no sound coming from the outside.
Yeah.
And it sure was spooky at night to hear this classical music coming through the hallways, but there was nothing producing that sound. And today we possibly think it might have been Mr. Ramos and Miss Ramos, both who loved music. It could have been one of them playing their music from up in heaven. But nonetheless, that's our
little spooky,
our favorite paranormal story for the mansion.
Because you said it was you and it was guests. Like there were multiple people hearing it.
Guests would call the front desk and say somebody's playing music. No, ma'am, there actually is nobody playing music. Well, I can hear the music. We can too, but nobody's playing that music.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny.
I love that story. And so you own this property. You own the Seaside Cafe, and then does that have a separate name? The house that's across?
The house across the street is the Lopez house.
The Lopez house. Okay. So was that that did not come with the original purchase
Eventually
of this?
it did, because the Lopez's and the Ramoses were one family.
Oh, they were, okay.
The Lopez house where Charlie Ramos lived. Judge Aquilina Lopez was Charlie Ramos's uncle.
Oh.
He was a local judge.
Okay, all right. And so this house is 14 rooms?
And it's 14 here.
Okay.
13 here.
Okay.
And 5 across the street.
Okay.
We have 18 rooms total. We're permitted for 19 rooms, but we only have 18 rooms.
Okay. So what do you think makes your property different or unique from other properties on the island?
I think in terms of being right on the ocean and being a spectacular historic building, there aren't many buildings in Key West that 5 American presidents have been to.
Wow.
That King Juan Carlos has been to. That Hemingway, Gordon Dahl, Truman Capote, Tennessee Williams have all been to. Charles Lindbergh has been to this house.
Really?
Louis Armstrong played music at this
Really?
house.
That's
So
Wow.
I think what
a
makes
lot of
it
history.
Yes.
distinct is its history,
Yes.
its spectacular appearance,
Yes.
its location on the
Location.
ocean.
Yes.
I should have said possibly I have 4 passions, because the last of my passions is this house.
Yeah.
I am passionate
tell.
about the Southernmost House,
Yeah.
protecting it, keeping it for the future.
Yeah.
Insider documents, original documents signed by George Washington, John Adams, Quincy, Monroe, John Quincy Adams, John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln. All these documents hang on the walls of this mansion. They're all original documents. And there's 8 original documents, original letters written by Ernest Hemingway, hanging in the walls of this mansion. It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's an extraordinary old building.
So if people don't stay here, can they come see the history still?
I
Or no?
give possibly 10,000 people a year tours of this
Really?
mansion. Free
Wow.
tours.
Okay.
I give at least 10,000 people a year tours of this mansion.
Okay.
And many of them, when we're done, say this is the highlight of their vacation.
I believe
They
it.
love it so much.
Wow. I can tell you're passionate.
10,001.
Yeah, right. No, it's so true. Wow. Well, I love your passion for the property and for your philanthropy and for all of the things
Yeah.
that we've talked about. Absolutely. So what haven't we talked about that you want to talk about? Is there anything?
Yes.
What?
Lobster pizza.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you for
Yes.
saying it. Lobster pizza.
Winnie, you want some lobster pizza?
We have to talk about the lobster pizza. So
Pizza.
the lobster pizza is a dish served here at the Seaside Cafe, and Greg and I have already admitted to you that we have yet to try it because we have our favorites that we always order when we're here, but we really want to try it. So you tell us your thoughts on the lobster pizza. How did it get so famous?
It's a funny story, but during COVID, we were shut down, and we might have been a little bit bored because we were out of business.
Yeah.
And I went to a sign company and I said, I want 4 signs printed. And on one side, I want best mojitos and margaritas. And on the other side, world famous lobster pizza. And he said, I didn't know you had world famous lobster pizza. I said, believe me, world famous.
It will be.
It will
Dang it.
be.
You manifested it.
And we put the 4 signs out. People started coming in, and the reaction to the lobster pizza was extraordinary. People coming here on vacation, eating it every day.
Yeah.
People coming off the planes and not checking in at the hotels, coming right to eat lobster pizza.
Wow.
A travel blogger, Shay Spence,
Yeah.
the one best dish she's eaten in Key West
Wow.
is the lobster
That's saying something.
pizza.
Yeah.
The food critic for the New York Times describing the lobster pizza as genius.
Wow.
Those things all added up.
Yeah.
And then people kept putting us on things, I don't know what they are. Instagram,
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Social
any of that is. Social media.
Hey, right.
After my time, not before my time, after my time.
Yeah.
That's our social media person, Julia. And I don't know about it, but it all started appearing
Yeah.
on social media.
Yeah.
And like many things, the myth grew,
Yeah.
and perception became
Uh-huh.
reality. And today, I walked in last night after a city commission meeting. I walked around the restaurant. Every single table in the restaurant had lobster pizza.
Really?
Now we have 25 things on our menu right now.
Yeah.
Every table had
Yeah.
a lobster pizza on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in the restaurant business since I was 16 or 17. I'm 70 now, 54 years. I've never walked into a restaurant where every table was
Had the same dish.
same.
Yeah.
It was just
Wow.
crazy. I've never seen that.
So did you know it was that amazing when you had those signs?
Our son made it for us,
Yeah.
and everybody got
So you
excited.
You knew it was
Okay.
special.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
And the
Dang,
honey
we're gonna have
butter
to try
lobster
it.
biscuits have
Oh.
the same effect.
Yeah.
So the people are wild about the honey butter lobster biscuits.
Yeah.
So
And is your son's name Rafe?
Rafe, R-A-F-E.
So Chef Rafe.
Chef Rafe.
He's the genius behind the lobster pizza.
I wouldn't call him a genius because then he'll ask me for a raise. But he's a very, very, very talented
He
chef.
came up with it.
talented.
He's a very, very, very talented chef
Yeah.
who came up with this menu. All of the items on the menu are his original recipes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's truly the driving force behind
Amazing.
Seaside Cafe.
Yeah. So if you had a day off, what would be the perfect way to spend your day off?
I don't take days off.
But if you
I
did,
work 7 days a week,
what would you do if you had free
playing
time?
with my grandchildren,
Yeah.
or traveling to see my other sons in the different cities in
Yeah.
which they live.
Family.
I do take time off occasionally,
Yeah.
and it is always to see my children and grandchildren.
Yeah.
That's the reason I take time off.
Yeah. So if you could go back and tell your maybe just out of law school self something, your young self, your young adult self something, what's one piece of advice or one piece of wisdom you would impart on them?
You can never get hurt by things you didn't say. Silence is often more profitable than speech.
That's the attorney in you.
That is,
Speaking.
and it's also, I've been in enough controversial
Yeah.
battles that there are many times in my life when I wish I had remained quieter than I did.
Interesting.
And it has all worked out, I think, hopefully well for those around me and their lives, hopefully that I've changed.
Yeah.
But I think silence is a highly underrated asset.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
So how can we and the people who are listening best support you? Where would you like for us to support you?
The best way they can support us
Yeah.
is to get up every day and say, how can I change someone's life for the better?
Yeah.
Not how I can criticize what someone else is doing. How can I get up today and with my own work and my own effort, my own finances, my own property, if I own nothing, with my own time, how can I dedicate the assets I have to making someone else's life better? Look outward instead of inward. I mean, it's wonderful. Everybody should be happy. And your own happiness is extremely important. But you'll get to your own happiness faster looking outward rather than looking inward, I think.
And looking for ways that you can improve yourself or improve upon the things that you see that bother you versus just talking about them or
Community.
complaining about them,
Yeah.
right? Or just saying negative things about what someone else is doing. That's beautiful.
Every day I get up wishing I had done things better,
Yeah,
but looking backwards is very unprofitable.
yeah,
It only provides you with a glimpse into what you should do better moving forward. Not regret, but knowledge that you can do better
yeah.
moving forward. And I don't know how many years I have left, but I'm going to stay on that path if
Yeah.
I can.
Well, thank you for what you've done in your
Yeah.
time here already. And it's amazing and inspiring. And I hope that we are able to make half the impact that you've made in our
I
time.
think
So-
you already
We're gonna
did, guys.
start moving.
Stephanie and Greg already are.
We gotta start going. This is over.
I think you're already doing it.
Well,
Oh, we
thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. We have so enjoyed talking with you, and we really appreciate you.
The pleasure was greatly
Yeah.
mine, guys.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you so much. It's been phenomenal. We learned a lot.
Yeah,
And just keep helping the community.
Yes.
Keep helping.
focus on the
And
positive.
come here, eat some lobster pizza.
Yeah, have some lobster pizza. Stay at the mansion.
Stay at the mansion.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Your gluten-free lobster pizza is on its way.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
sit there. Don't move, guys.
Thank you so
Michael.
much.